Hey everyone, welcome to a special stream on the RSG YouTube channel. I am Finity of Reality Skewed Gamers, and many of you thought that I didn't have any friends, but I can prove you wrong now. On the stream, I have my buddy Cubs fan Han. Cubs, say hi to the peeps.
Well, let me state for the record, Finn and I are not friends. You don't have any friends. I'm just doing business with you today.
Ranger got to you already, I know. You did a stream with Ranger for...
Finn's a very bad man.
And there he is, just making me feel bad.
Well, thanks for Finn. Thanks for putting this on the RSG channel today. That's great. I do these on my Discord server. For those of you guys listening that might not be on my Discord server, or if you don't know who I am, I'm a YouTuber for the game. I don't know if you don't, then I'm Cubs fan Han. What's up? But on my Discord server, I'll sporadically do question and answer sessions. And because I usually do them on my lunch breaks at work, because that's when I have time to do them, I don't have the capability to live stream them. Not to mention, even if I was home, my Wi-Fi is too bad to live stream. And so I talked to Finn today and thought, man, it'd be sweet if we could live stream this so that you guys could all hear it. So, yeah, thanks for having me. I'm glad we could put this out there.
All right. So
we've actually got about, let's see, geez, I've got probably 25 to 30 people here on my Discord server that are on the voice chat with us. And so for all of you guys here right now, I think we can just get right to it. We're going to be taking your questions first, but Finn will be monitoring the chat on the YouTube channel, and we're also monitoring chat here on the Discord server. So if you have questions there, feel free to ask them. We just may or may not get to them. We'd love to take all your questions, especially because I don't know about you, Finn. This is a freaking exciting time in this game right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was... We've had a few streams and videos about this. It's definitely an exciting time. It's giving us a lot of the stuff that we've been waiting for and just kind of craving in this game. So much dark side.
Dude.
Finally, dark side.
When I saw that it was... So probably the two things I think that we want the most are dark side love and expanded universe stuff. Mm-hmm. And we got both in a raid. So when I saw the announcement, my knees went weak. I was just so excited. So anyway, we've got lots of stuff to cover with that. We got quality of life updates coming up. Tons of stuff. So for those of you guys in the Discord chat, who is going to lead us off with the first question?
Well, for those of them on YouTube, let me just lay it down really quick. As Cubs fan Han said, we're answering questions from the Discord first. So if you're on YouTube right now, in the description of the YouTube video, you will see a link to Cubs fan Han's Discord. Okay, so make sure you go to that and get onto the Discord so you can join us in the voice chat. If you put questions in the chat in YouTube, I will be collecting them, but we are giving priority to people in the Q&A voice chat in the Cubs fan Han Discord first. Okay, so make sure you guys are hopping into there, and then obviously there's a link to Cubs fan Han's YouTube channel, so make sure you subscribe to that as well, but you can do that after. We have to do the questions first.
Get to the YouTube channel! Get to the Discord server.
All right.
Okay. Now we can get to it. I know. I'm sure there's somebody who's just dying to come off mute and ask a question. Tell us who you are, by the way, too, so we can all know who the lovely voice is that we're hearing. Floor is yours, guys.
Who has a question? I think people.
Here, I'll post a question for you guys.
Okay.
I'm Grim over on the RSG Discord.
What's up, Grim?
Cubs fan, sorry.
Cubs fan.
Cubs fan Han.
I'll take it.
With this new news of the Sith, what are your thoughts on what could possibly be the reward from? What would you like to see as the reward?
Oh, I love that question because that is like, I'm just dying to know the answer to that question. And we don't know. And I assure you that we're on a Discord server with some of the developers, and I've been trying my very best to find the answer to that question out. And they're tight-lipped on it. So what we do know is they have told us that Revin is not coming right now. Now, I do believe that a lot of this seems to be building up to Revin, which I'm excited about because Revin is a character that, I mean, you say Revin and it like triggers the whole community. Everyone just goes into a
Lord and Savior.
Yeah, it's like our Lord and Savior. You know, we're prophesying about the second coming of Revin, or the first coming, or whatever. But anyway,
Revin?
yeah, I know. I said a swear, but CG knows how much we want Revin. They know how awesome he is. I'm pretty sure a lot of them are pretty big Expanded Universe fans, and so I'm sure they want to bring Revin to the game. And so they are going to want to make it huge, in my opinion. And so I didn't think it made sense when there are all these Revin rumors. I didn't know if they're true or not. I was thinking it just seems abrupt. You know, there's no way that Revin's just going to come and it's going to be like, oh, marquee character, Revin, here he is. You know, it's going to be like this big, massive buildup. And so the fact that we're getting this raid that is with the Sith triumvirate of Nihilus, Scion, and Traya, I think is a perfect stepping stone to lead us that direction towards Revin. So no, I don't think Revin's going to be a raid reward for this character, but I definitely feel like this kind of content is building that tension that could build towards Revin in a very exciting way. But I think I personally would like to see either Traya be the raid character or both Traya and Scion be the raid characters together. I don't know if they would be open to doing that or how they would distribute that if it was two characters, because we only have, we've just got the example of, Han or General Kenobi being the raid character. But technically that Sith triumvirate, Traya was the master of Nihilus and Scion. So I think if it's going to be one character, Traya makes sense. Plus, I really feel like Traya could be just a dope character, like just crazy dope. I mean, she fights with 3 hovering lightsabers and 1 red lightsaber in her hand. Just think about the animations you could do with that. I think it would be really, really cool. So I could see her being the raid character, but I also feel like, I don't know if it makes sense for her to be it and then for Scion to just be like a marquee character. But I don't know. I mean, it's possible that it could be something different like Malgus too. So I don't know. The jury's out. What do you think, Finn?
I actually think it is probably something closer to a Malgus. Just looking at the other raids, in the Rancor raid, you fight the Rancor, but you don't actually get the Rancor. You get a different character altogether of the general era.
That's a good point.
And so
that's a good point.
I'm thinking that we're going to fight Traya, we're going to fight Scion, we're going to fight Nihilus, but the reward is going to be something from that general time period. It seems like Malgus fits really nicely into that group. So my guess is going to be Malgus as the reward. And
I would love that.
We could get currency of a different kind and be able to get Traya and Scion the same way we're kind of getting Hermit Yoda and Wampa right now from like territory battles and wars. We could get a new currency where you could get Traya and Scion through that purchase instead and get raid Malgus.
You guys are forgetting one character, Malik.
Malik, yeah. No, I was just going to say Malik is another one that could totally fall into that category. I feel like, I mean, this community is so obsessed with Revin, and I get it. You know, if you play the games, Revin is, he's cool. But I feel like Malgus and Malik are both on a pretty similar level of cool. I don't know why we don't hear about them more in terms of how the community would want them. I mean, those guys are freaking amazing.
I think it may be just a little bit more because of the whole light side, dark side combination with Revin, right? It's not like just the pure darkness that you get. I think a lot of people have been craving the dark side anyways because it's been so light side heavy in the game. But I think there's something about having a character that has that balance of light side and dark side in Revin that just adds like a mystique. It's kind of with Luke also, right? Although we pretty much just see him light side, all it's kind of non-canon, but all the stuff about him going to the dark side and kind of learning about it, and then now he's light side, it would be kind of cool to kind of get one of those as well. So
I also feel like, and this has been said before, but I feel like when/if we get Revin, I feel like we need 2 versions of him. I feel like we need the Jedi, and I feel like we need the Sith. I don't feel like you can combine them into one character and have it make sense.
I know Ranger
I disagree with that.
Disagrees with you. Ranger's been going crazy.
I mean, it's what he is. Revin used the light side and the dark side as tools for the goals of what he wanted to achieve. It's what makes him stand out is that he is a master of the light side and the dark side. It encompasses everything. And could you imagine having a character in the game that you can use on both? You can use them on Jedi and Sith.
You want him to have both the light and the dark side tag?
Yes, I think it would be a phenomenal character in the game, and it would fit with the canon of who he is.
I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with it. As long as it contemplates both. Like, I don't feel if we're going to only do one character, I think it has to be that way because it doesn't make sense to me that he would be only dark or only light. So
I think that the biggest problem with combining the two, and I agree 100%, if they're going to make Revin, he has to have both tags, and that would just be really cool. I think that the biggest problem would just be them programming his character to the point where he's not just breaking everything in the game. Because if we get Revin, we do want him to be extremely powerful, but if he serves as both sides, he's going to work with any team lineup, and any team that has Revin is most likely going to be just the winning team no matter who you throw him up against now. So I feel like from a game creating standpoint, that would be very difficult to balance.
And that was Spider Nick that was just talking. So everyone knows.
Spider Nick here, everybody.
all right. Okay, that was a great question to get us let off. Grim, I mean, shame on you. You got us talking about Revin within the first 10 minutes of the stream. So you should be ashamed of yourself.
I am. I apologize.
How dare you?
Thank you for the answers, though. That was awesome.
You bet, man. Let's take another one. Oh, and I should call out, we got Grande Patron in the stream.
Oh, God. Please don't let him talk.
When you got the RSG crew here, you're going to have all kinds of nonsense.
I think Tits is here, too. Is Tits here? Oh, no, she left. She was here.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I just like being quiet about Revin because Ranger and I have a slightly different opinion about what needs to happen with Revin. I don't think.
Yeah, I'm right. You're wrong.
We can agree to disagree. I think he needs to be in the game, but I'm not sure if we're going to get him. Here's the reason why Revin is so popular. Revin was so popular because in the Knights of the Old Republic, you got to play as that character, and you also got to decide whether you played light or whether you played dark or whether you played a combination of the two. That same mechanic is not in this current game. So how they introduce that character is going to be really important, and how they introduce that character and try to not piss off a huge bunch of people that have this idea in their head about how magical Revin would be and that he'd be some kind of demigod. They're going to end up. It's going to end up making somebody feel underwhelmed. And
that makes me think? I don't think they'll do this, but I'm just going to throw it out there. But what if when you unlock Revin, you have to choose if your Revin is light or your Revin is dark?
I think that would be an amazing thing.
And you can never go back.
Yep, that'd be terrible.
That would be awful.
That would be the worst.
Don't do that to our Lord and Savior, Grande. You're a bad man.
Or what about
I
this?
kind of like it.
They know that they're not going to be able to maybe get both light and dark side, right? And so maybe they give us two different Revins, or maybe they give us a Revin where you do have the ability to maybe make that particular character slightly more customizable, your particular Revin, than almost any other character in the game. What if it was the only character in the game that you were able to change his tags and it changed his abilities?
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah. I mean, but you couldn't be both light and dark at the same time. You could change his abilities. There was like a 24-hour timer on it, and then when the 24-hour timer was up, you could change them back.
Okay, I have to put a stop to this now because we are doing a question and answer stream when we have so much content out there, and we are theory crafting Revin. Really?
I agree. I was
Really?
just gonna,
We are
I was
not
gonna
turning
say
this
too.
into a Revin Power
See,
Hour anymore.
that is why this is why I say shame on you, Grim. Shame on you. You can't bring this subject up and not just. I mean, especially for all of us guys, we think about this game on such a deep level. And okay, let's take another question in the Discord.
So I missed the first 15 minutes, so I hope that this was not already asked. But with the new Sith raid coming, how important do you think it is for us to farm Sith Trooper and Sith Assassin right now?
Well, I'd be farming them.
Doja-san.
I am farming them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thanks, Doja-san.
I'm gonna say farm Sith Trooper and farm Sith Assassin because they're good characters. Sith Assassin really makes almost any Sith team go as far as turn meter. Sith Trooper, AoE, Retribution, and Taunt. Great character.
And look at the way that raids have kind of gone in the past, right? We've had, like, Heroic AAT had a bonus to Jawas and Jedi, but it's not exclusive to only those characters. So when you're looking at this as a Sith raid, the content is going to be Sith-oriented, but it's not going to probably need only Sith. So you can work on the characters if you really want to, but I don't think it's going to be where you only need the Sith. And if you look at the way like Heroic AAT is right now, Jedi and Jawas have essentially phased out, right? So it's not going to be something where if you want the characters, I'm sure you'll be able to find use for it. There's probably a high likelihood that Sith are going to get some kind of bonus in that raid that you may be able to take advantage of. But if you're looking to say, like, you're going to need it, like 100% need it, it's a mandatory requirement, something like that, I don't foresee that you're going to need that for a raid because it's going to be too small of a character pool that you'll be able to play with.
So then my follow-up question is, would you prioritize farming these Sith over Kylo Ren and his silencer at the current point?
Yeah, see, this is the whiplash that we have right now, in that because we've had so many mixed signals on what to farm, right? We've got Kylo Ren in this node. Before that, we had rumors about Revin and farm Sith Trooper and Sith Assassin, and then Kylo Ren got dropped there. Then we have Sith Assassin as a logging character. Now we've got this raid being announced. I personally, and I don't know, so this is 100% speculation, but with Sith Marauder being the new character, to me that kind of, and especially with this raid coming, that to me signaled we're done with Last Jedi for now. We're now focusing on expanded universe stuff. That doesn't mean we couldn't see a Snoke or a Hux later, but that's just not their focus right now. So I don't feel like Kylo Ren is somebody you need to panic farm right now for some kind of event that's coming up. That said, just like Finn was just saying, if we're going to be farming characters for this raid, if we look at the other raids, we're probably just going to be farming them for some kind of bonus, which ends up not being that meaningful. And so I don't feel like you necessarily need to panic farm Assassin and Trooper either. So me personally, I'm farming them just in case I need them for maybe some kind of legendary event that could come with this. I don't know. But I don't feel like you'd be in a bad position at all if you went for crew either, just because that's one of the best deals in the game right now, farming crew and his ship at the same time on an early Cantina node. So if you would rather do that than farm Assassin and Trooper, I think you'll be fine to do so, in my opinion. But again, speculation. If it ends up biting you in the butt, don't yell at me about it.
I won't blame you, don't worry.
I'll speculate a little bit on that as well, something different. When there is any new faction that starts to get close to 5 characters, or 5, in this case, ships, for me, it always raises a little bit of a red flag that there's something coming. So while I tend to agree with Cubs fan that it's probably not going to be too much Last Jedi stuff, the introduction of Holdo puts into my mind at least the thought of a potential capital ship. Obviously, there's nothing to substantiate it, but just looking at what's in the game right now, The fact that there could be a capital ship with Haldo would require first order ships. By moving the first order special forces to Guild, and then the TIE Slicer, I'm calling it Slicer for you, the TIE Slicer into the Cantina battles. You have now 4 first order ships. So Kylo Ren Unmasked is a really good character. I think his ship is probably somewhere down the line going to be needed for some Resistance Haldo capital ship. So you don't want to necessarily have to panic farm those ships later on. So me personally, I'm focusing on those ships, but I'm also at the point where I don't necessarily need anything in particular from Guild Store or Arena, or Cantina. So I would go with
And keep
Kylo
in
Ren.
mind, the fact that we're moving, now we've got expanded universe characters coming, we've got a raid coming. That definitely seems like the focus right now, but that doesn't mean that there couldn't possibly be any more Last Jedi content. If it comes, I don't think it's going to be soon because they've definitely shifted the gear in that direction. I feel like it would just kind of not, I don't know, it would kind of throw off their hype train if they announce this raid, we get Marauder, and then they're like, oh, by the way, here's, something from The Last Jedi. I don't feel like that would make sense from a marketing standpoint. However, we could have that maybe, later in the year, which, for example, we had that with the veterans and with BB-8. We had a bunch of Rogue One focus, and then all of a sudden we got characters from The Force Awakens. So it's possible that those characters could just be delayed a bit because they want to really focus on the extended universe stuff. And I think that's my personal guess, my educated guess, is one of the reasons why we haven't gotten more Last Jedi stuff is just because they really want to laser focus on this expanded universe stuff. Because, let's be honest, The Last Jedi, a lot of us didn't really like that movie. And a lot of us really love the expanded universe. And so I think that's a pretty fair trade, in my opinion. I'll take it. So even though I actually like The Last Jedi, but don't hate me. I
liked it too. So they'll have to hate both of us.
I like you.
Oh, yes, I like
TIE
it too.
Slicer.
My favorite character was Rose.
Okay, this guy's going. That's just not true. All right, let's take another question in the Discord.
All right, everybody. This is Renro Nara.
What's up? Hey, real quick. I got to give a shout out to Renro Nara. For those of you who don't know, Renro Nara listened to me ask him questions for about probably a combined 24 hours total as I needed help to get my new Mac set up for my YouTube channel. So thanks again, Renro Nara. You are the man.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Now ask your question.
So my question is, going along the lines of how raids have been set up, right? It's in 4 phases. Was it we're fighting the triumvirate phase? If they keep to that model, do you think it'd be ships or the secret potential character that we're going to get? Or what is your thoughts?
Finn, I'll let you tackle that first. I took the last few first. I have some thoughts, but you go for it.
So I don't think there's enough ships in the game to make it more than one phase. It looks like they are trying to add more into ships, so it wouldn't surprise me if the first phase, for example, is all ship related. So it'll be a first phase with something like ships, as there is a capital ship potentially for Nihilus, at least in the lore. One of our fans yesterday sent it to me. Is the Ravager. So that was Nihilus's capital ship. So it's possible that the first phase is something like attacking the Ravager for Darth Nihilus. Then you can proceed kind of through whatever kind of corridor that they have set up, as the image kind of implicates like you're at kind of that's probably the phase 4 setup. The image that they have in the post where you finally get to the end and you probably fight the triumvirate. So the middle 2 phases is probably fighting some generic, I'll call them generic, but there's probably going to be some named like Sith bodyguards ahead of the triumvirate,
right? And
then the final one is going to be fighting the triumvirate. So that would be my guess. I can't see the ships being, so the lead up has to be the final phase has to be the triumvirate. Like that's going to be the build up of the entire raid. If they're going to introduce ships, it would have to be on the front side. There are still very few ships. At most, a player can get in 4 attacks, even if you're completely maxed out, because you're just limited by the number of capital ships. And even for all of those, you don't have enough ships to fill up like an entire reinforcement. So if they're introducing that, and we don't have a timeline yet, and if there is one, Cubs can't tell us yet, but if it comes
tomorrow.
So if there isn't a timeline necessarily, there could be an influx of several ships coming as well that would build up to that. Completely maxed out, because you're just limited by the number of capital ships. And even for all of those, you don't have enough ship. Prismatic. Okay, I muted him on my end. So if they don't have a large influx of ships, then the chances are lower that there's going to be any ship content in the raids. But I can see it as a potential, but there needs to be work done to get that done.
Yeah, I'm right with you, Finn. I think that I would be, well, personally, first of all, I should say, I would be really surprised if this raid didn't incorporate ships at all. I think that would be, because to me, the developers, while it seems like ships have kind of been, left by the wayside in a lot of ways, I also do not feel that the developers are just going to let them die out. They're still giving us ship content. And if they were to introduce a new raid and have no ship focus on it, I think that would be almost them saying we literally could not care less about ships. I think there's got to be ships in this raid somewhere. And the way that it makes the most sense is at the beginning, like Finn said. I completely agree. My question is, are we only going to fight the Triumvirate as a trio, or are we going to get turns with each of them individually as well? I like to think, and then also, are we going to, kind of like the tank raid, we fight the tank, then we go on to, the B2 battle droids, and then we fight the tank again. Are we going to get them in phase 2, and then we have to fight through some troopers, and then we go back to the Triumvirate? I don't know. I'm really curious to see how they will do it, and I hope that they implore some of the lore into it, or apply. I don't know what the word I want there is. I always get people correcting my English in the comments, so you guys can send me the hate mail.
I get much worse than that. So
anyway, yeah. Oh gosh. Anyway, I'm really interested to see how they set it up, but I do know, at least from some devs that I've talked to, they definitely seem to be pretty big fans of the expanded universe. So I have a feeling this is going to be a pretty geeked out raid. I'm excited. Mm-hmm. And then, I would be really excited.
And to your point about the lore aspect, I don't think anything got fans of the game, not necessarily just the Star Wars universe, but those that are in the game, more excited than the Luke hero's journey, especially that Vader Old Ben scene. And I think that may have been a cue for them that, okay, from now on, we have to incorporate lore a little bit more, because I don't want to necessarily put it in a bad light, but they can get away with a lot of other missteps by having something that just stays with the movie, stays with the lore, actually brings out the Star Wars fan in people, rather than just making it game content. And so
I would love to see? I would love to see if in one of the phases you work towards a point where Nihilus and Scion kill Traya like they do in the lore. Well, they suck the force out of her or whatever. What if we were to have something like that in the raid?
That would be pretty
Or maybe that's what happens at the end. Maybe somehow you end up fighting with Nihilus and Scion in the last. I don't know. I'm totally.
That's what I was thinking, actually. As you were saying that. Phase 2, you can fight like Nihilus. Phase 3, you fight Scion. And then in Phase 4, like in halfway through, all of a sudden Nihilus and Scion come to assist you for the rest of the battle, when like Traya goes like insane and just like.
And then the raid ends with you sucking the force out of Traya. Mm-hmm. That'd be so sick. Okay, I really hope they're doing that.
We're giving them ideas now.
Yeah,
the
they probably won't.
That, though, is if you're using Nihilus, then you get 2 Nihiluses.
Well, you can use General Grievous in Phase 1 of Heroic AAT, so it wouldn't be the first time they allow that. You can have
maybe
And
maybe,
B2.
that's true. You can use Grievous against Grievous, but on the same team, it's different. On the same side, maybe if that happens, then maybe you just use your own Nihilus. If you're using him for that phase, Nihilus is just your Nihilus.
Yeah. Oh, then that would suck if you have like a level 1 Nihilus that comes to assist.
Or maybe you're I don't know. Maybe you just don't get to use your Nihilus for that phase. I don't know.
No, 2 Nihiluses.
I hope they do something with the lore, though. 2 Nihiluses would be cool. Yeah, I would be ready to. Just something I was thinking about. I'll never forget when Heroic Tank came out, which, geez, that feels like forever.
Mm-hmm.
For a lot of guilds, this was a very discouraging time when Heroic Tank came out. We were super excited for the raid. The hype train was crazy, especially because they announced the raid and then we had to wait several months before it actually hit. And then the raid hit, and it felt like we all got our butts handed to us. You know, it felt like we just got killed for a lot of guilds. I think for some up in the, the upper guilds, the Team Instincts and the, the really high galactic power guilds, it might not have been as big of a deal, but for the guild I was in, at least, we had a lot of people quit the game because they were so discouraged. So be ready for a challenge when this raid hits. They are definitely going to want it to be something that we can't just fly through and have no issues with. So just a word to the wise to be ready for that. So, all right, let's take another question.
So I have a question actually from somebody that was in the Discord, but he doesn't have a mic. So I want to grab his question since he did ask it.
Yeah, thanks.
So the question is from Rack Frondar. And his question is, with all the power creep that is coming into the game with CLS and return or Rey Jedi training, Thrawn, Emperor Palpatine, Vader reworks, etc., and in light of a new raid coming out, what is the likelihood of Rancor raid just going away?
If it just disappeared. He's asking if it would disappear?
Yeah.
They're not going to get rid of it. I would be really surprised if they just completely axed it, although I wouldn't care if they did because I think the Rancor is boring. And this is actually something I'm really curious about, is how are we going to manage this? Right now we've got a lot of content, right? We've got 2 raids, we've got territory battles, dark side, light side, and we've got territory wars. And so I feel like balancing 3 raids in the middle of that at the same time doesn't make sense either. So I wonder if you choose between Rancor and this new raid or somehow, or maybe the higher galactic power guilds, maybe Rancor, maybe you use those tickets for this raid instead. I don't know. I'm not really sure how they would do that.
Yeah.
Say that again.
Can we use sim tickets on the Rancor raid?
Yeah, sim tickets.
Sim ticket the Rancor raid. You have to have everybody time out their sim tickets too, because then one person sims early and screws over everyone else.
Something I could see is that the Rancor maybe becomes a beginner's raid, because it doesn't make sense to me that they would just get rid of it, because it's a really great raid for beginning guilds.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great way to get your feet wet. So I wonder if maybe once your guild reaches a certain galactic power, the Rancor goes away, and then you have this raid, and this raid isn't available until you're at a certain galactic power. Maybe something like that would happen. I could see that happen. What do you think, Finn?
They've added something recently, what they mentioned about the Galactic War, right? Where after you beat Galactic War a certain amount of times, you can sim it. I'm not saying to sim the Rancor, but they have, apparently based on that, some mechanism where they can track how many times you've beaten a particular raid. Similarly, they could do something like that with Rancor, where, for example, after you beat it a certain number of times, it just turns into, I don't know, just phase 4, for example. So now you have much less time that you need in there. Same thing with Heroic AAT. After you've beaten it a certain number of times, maybe they just reduce it to phase 4. And that may help out all guilds just kind of get it done with very quickly.
I don't know, though. At least on the Rancor, I feel like you reduce it to phase 4, and okay, it goes from a raid that can be autoed in 10 minutes to a raid, or 7 minutes for some people, to a raid that can be autoed in 1 minute. I don't feel like it really does that much for the Rancor. Heroic Tank, it probably does more.
Well,
but
that's for guilds that are
Rancor. I don't know.
The thing so the one thing I always have to be careful about, I can solo the entire raid, right? But there are still guilds that need everybody to work through the phases. They're still able to beat the Rancor, right? But they still need everybody to pull their weight in order to beat the Rancor, like all the lower guilds. And same thing with heroic AAT. Like, you still have guilds that are working on their 2% per person in order to try and get each of the phases down. So it's not necessarily rewarding the people that have it on auto, but it's more for the people that are kind of, like you were saying, like the newer players, right? They're doing heroic AAT, and they're at the point where they're doing like their 2% over and over again. They're getting it done, but it just takes so much time that this could actually help them, which is that it makes it quicker for them in order to get their raids, and they're the ones that we're trying to, I'm assuming their target, right? Some of us are already way too invested in this game at this point. I think we're so far down the line that they're like, yeah, they're going to keep on playing. But the newer players, they're like, we can do whatever. They're going to keep playing. They're doing YouTube too, so that means they're way too invested in this game as it is.
Oh gosh, they got me good.
I know. But the other guilds, they're still at the point where they're like, we're doing Rancor. That's still not even the end game raid, right? And so by reducing the time that they need, that can really help them with just that time aspect and maybe keep them in the game longer.
Yeah, I definitely feel like that. One thing I would be surprised about is if they just give us a new raid and it's just like it is now, where you've got raid tickets for each raid that accumulate at the same pace, and you just choose between, how often you're going to bounce those raids. I would be surprised if there wasn't something in place to make it less sweaty for guilds, because I think they're aware of they don't want people to burn out. They want us to keep playing the game, and so if they overload us, then people are going to have a higher propensity to leave. So, yeah, that's a good point. All right, good question. That was a really good one to tackle. Who's next?
Have we speculated on what the reward character will be for the raid?
Yeah, we did at the beginning of the stream, and that got us talking about Revin, which is bad. So I'm going to say
not Revin. I would assume it's going to be Treya or Scion or possibly both.
We also discussed Malik or Malgus as well as
Malgus
possibility.
is my guess.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Good question,
right.
but shame on you, because that does kind of get people talking about Revin. Shame on you.
Who? Revin who? I don't know who this Revin is.
That is the correct answer.
You know what I need on my Discord server? Somebody, everybody who is on my Discord server, who watches enough of my videos, knows that I have a certain disdain for a certain character.
Yeah, exactly. You need a bot for
Barasafi. And on my Discord server, if you mention Xeris, and even if you spell it wrong and only do one S, I have a bot that will post an image that slaps you for saying that name. I should do this. I should do the same thing for Revin.
Yeah, but you love Revin. You just don't like the talking about it.
I love Revin, but the rumor mill has, and you guys did a whole stream on this. The rumor mill has just been ridiculous. I mean, you've got people making stuff up left and right just to troll the community, and people buy it. It's so oh my gosh. I mean, I saw a rumor once. It was circulating. I bet a lot of you guys did too. And then it came out that the guy right before that, he's like, "Hey, let me show you how easy it is to make up a rumor." And he actually did it, and the screenshot went around, and people believed it.
Welcome to the game.
I also found out it's very easy to doctor. It's very easy to doctor Discord screenshots. So you could totally make me say whatever you want with just a little crop. Mm-hmm. Please don't do that.
We need a whole channel in your Discord for it. Who can make Cubs fan Han say the weirdest thing?
Make Cubs fan Han say good things.
All right. Do we have any other questions in the Discord from anyone?
I have a question.
Okay.
So this is regarding the Palpatine and Vader reworks. And so I'm sure that by now many of us have seen that Arnold was talking about how he and Mobile Gamer tested them out a lot, like 50 or 60 battles or something. They said that it just does not do the job against Jedi Training Rey. So the Jedi Training Rey meta is still kind of intact, but do you personally believe that Commander Luke's meta is in trouble because of them still, or do you think that this rework kind of fell flat in that regard?
No, here's how I feel. I'm gonna agree and disagree with Mobile Gamer and Arnold. I'm gonna disagree with them in the sense that I feel like the rework works, and I feel like me personally, I tested the characters out, and the combination I personally ran. I know there's others out there, but the combination I really tested out that I thought was really fun was Palp Lead with Vader, General Kenobi, Sith Trooper, and Darth Nihilus, and that was able to handle every meta team pretty easily with pretty good mods. I put a good amount of speed on Darth Vader to make him. I mean, with his new unique ability, he just becomes really, really fast, really quick, which is pretty fun. And in my experience, I was able to beat all of those teams. So I disagree with them partially, but I also do agree with them in the sense that it doesn't seem like the rework is making them that spectacular on defense. And so a big disclaimer that I think I would throw up is if you want to spend these Zetas and go for this team, it will probably work for you. But I'm not sure if I can promise you that it's not going to impact you defensively negatively, depending on what you're running right now. Now, depending on your mods and the experience of your server and who you've got on your server, that could vary. But it doesn't seem to be the best defensive team. So basically, my final takeaway with it is it works. It's fun. If you like it, do it. It's just not meta, in my opinion. I don't think it's breaking the meta. I don't think anyone who's running JTR or CLS is in trouble because of it. I think they'll still be able to battle through it. But it definitely works, and I would endorse it personally.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I have a follow-up question to that. You said you tested against all the meta teams. Did that include against Night Sisters as well?
Yeah, Night Sisters I could auto.
So, because I'm the shard that I'm on is ridiculously insane when it comes to Night Sisters.
Let me first of all, you can cry on my shoulder after the stream. I feel your pain.
Yeah.
Powerful Night Sister teams suck.
So, CLS is non-existent on my shard because if you run the CLS led team, you're going to fall below 50, hands down. So what's at the top is either Jedi Training Ray or Night Sisters, and Jedi Training Ray doesn't stand a chance against Night Sisters. We have a couple of guys that run Empire. They fall pretty far, but they don't have problems against the Night Sisters. But even with the Imperial Troopers, I've got a Zeta Veers at Gear 12, and I've got Gear 11 other Imperial Troopers. I still can't even beat the Night Sisters with them. So would you say that these new Zetas on Vader and Palp would be the solution to that, or is that still going to be an issue when I'm fighting full Gear 12 Night Sisters with a General Kenobi or a Wampa and with God mods? Like we're talking like over 100.
Yeah. To me, my guess would be that mods are your bigger issue. Probably. If I don't know how well your team is modded, but if you're not able to currently battle through the Night Sisters with troopers, then I'm guessing it's mods. I don't think that those Zetas would be your savior for that issue. I think farming better mods would probably be your bigger issue. Now, I could be wrong. I would feel very hesitant to recommend to you to give a Zeta to those characters for that purpose if you're currently struggling with it.
Okay. Yeah, because currently I'm splitting my farming between crew, Sith Trooper, and mods. I do 100 refresh for each every day.
Good. And make sure you're saving credits. I mean, I don't know if you guys do this, but in the mod store, good mods show up there periodically. It's sometimes few and far in between, but I always personally keep a stack of about 5 million credits handy so that I can buy the right mod when it shows up. And the refresh for that store is only 15 crystals, and it stays at 15 crystals. I've maxed it out before on the test account. It never goes up. And I think you can do about 100 refreshes, I think, which is dangerous. Don't do that. But I will usually every day, I will go to that mod store and I'll refresh it 3 or 4 times throughout the day. Or if I really want a good mod, maybe a little bit more. because it really doesn't cost that much. And then you can have that guaranteed speed secondary. I will only look for speed secondary in that store. So I would, it sounds like you're probably doing this, but for those listening, if you're wondering how to get good speed secondary, a great way to do it is to hang on to your credits, at least 5 million. Just don't spend below that much, or maybe at a bare minimum 4 million, because the most expensive mod you can get in there is a gold mod for, I think, 3.9 million credits. So at the bare minimum that much, so that when that mod comes along, you can buy it. And don't buy mods with crystals unless you're a Kraken.
Yeah, I don't currently use the 15 for refreshing. Maybe I should start employing that strategy.
I think it's a good deal. The only thing I would caution you on is if you're getting low on crystals, sometimes it can be like this, putting quarters in a slot machine. You just keep putting them in, keep putting them in. Because it's so low.
Because of the Night Sisters, it was my turn for first place yesterday, but I couldn't get above 9th. So,
yeah, dude, I think mods are the biggest thing you should focus on.
And I'm going to throw this
what
out
your
there.
Problem is.
I know this is a name that you do not want to have heard. So there is a character of a female persuasion that Cubs fan doesn't like. If you have her Zeta'd, then she actually works really well against Night Sisters. You don't necessarily need to change around your squad too much if you're already running a team or have her ready. Most people don't use her in lead. It's surprising.
She's tier 10 and Zeta, but...
Mm-hmm. If you put her in lead...
My solution is Chase.
Yeah. Chase is a really good one, too. I've been using her.
It's a bit RNG dependent, though. But it does work.
Yeah. I mean, my female that should not be named character's team, when I put her in lead, actually works out really well. Like, consistently, I can beat Night Sisters. And it's a team. It's a team with Barris Lee, General Kenobi, CLS, Thrawn, and Nihilus. And the key is to annihilate Asajj Ventress. Because if the zombie keeps on dying, Ventress is the one that ends up doing the most damage. Everybody else you can deal with Barris, between her lead ability and her Zeta. But if Ventress keeps on powering up, she does an AoE and can knock out your entire team. So you save the Annihilate for her.
Yeah, that's what's so tricky to balance. Mm-hmm. That's what's so tricky to balance right there. Because you want to get rid of your revivers, you want to get rid of the plague, and you want to get rid of Asajj. And if they're running them with General Kenobi and Zombie, then you have to fight through them at some point. So yeah, that can be it's a tough.
And that's why Thrawn and Nihilus work really well in the team, because you get CLS who can put the buff immunity. You have Thrawn who can do a fracture, and then you have Nihilus who on a basic can actually pull off taunt. So if you save like Kenobi's retribution or his what's this? Yeah. He gets everybody attack. Against all odds, is it called? I can't remember now. I'm blanking on the name. But where he gets everybody to attack. You can use Barris's heal in order to give everybody defense up. Because otherwise, if everybody has plague, you're not going to get a buff from Kenobi. And then Kenobi can get everybody to attack. Nihilus attacks, takes off a buff, and then you time it with an Annihilate. So it is tricky, but I have
good question
with it.
Great question. All right, let's take another one.
Got another one for you guys. It's Grim again. And now for something completely different. Cubs,
now for
when you guys go to CG at the end of this month, can you find the developer who decided to put the squad selection search filter in and give him a hug for me?
I will. I'll give him a kiss on the cheek for you, too. I really wanted that. Consider it done.
All right. Who else has a question?
And I'll probably also get kicked out of the Game Changers program as soon as I kiss him on the cheek. But you know what? I'm passionate about the game. What can I say?
Are you passionate enough to ask them for a dark side Barris?
Wow. Oh my gosh. I just almost threw up all over my phone.
You said the name.
Can't believe you just said that. Can somebody boot him from the stream right now? I don't know who that was. I'm just kidding. I think we should only have dark side Barris because she's a dirty traitor and a terrorist.
Wow. The hatred is strong with you.
It's true. I'm just speaking how it is. It's what she is.
All right, so I have a question from the YouTube chat. So the question is from Vague, and his question is, where's our Grievous rework at?
I'm sorry, you were cutting out. Did you say where's the Grievous rework at?
Yes, where is the Grievous rework?
All I heard was rework, and I got Grievous rework out of that.
Yes.
I just knew. I just had an instinct. So obviously right now, for those of you who want a Grievous rework, it's tabled right now. It's got to be, because we're focusing on expanded universe stuff. So if it's coming, it's not coming soon, in my opinion. I don't know when it's coming or if it's coming, but it has to come. It has to, because, I mean, with who General Grievous is and how, I mean, he's like on cup level of bad almost in the game right now. He's so bad. And he's a raid character. He's a raid boss. And his playable character is like, terrible. And so he's got to be on the rework calendar somewhere. It's just right now it doesn't seem to be priority with what's coming out. So I would say if you want a Grievous rework and you want to think, okay, when's the soonest that could happen? Well, okay, right now we're focusing on expanded universe. We got a new character. We probably have more coming. We've got a raid coming. After that, once that settles down, it's going to be time for the Han Solo movie. We're going to have Han Solo hype. And that's probably going to digest for a little bit. So I feel like the soonest we could see any kind of new faction pass is probably going to be after the Han Solo movie.
Yeah. I agree. Anyone in the
But I hope we see it. For those who invested so much on that character, good for you. Good for you. Good job. That's awesome, and I really hope that you guys get that rework, because you're gonna be the ones laughing when it happens, if it happens. So,
can we all get a moment of silence for our buddy Arnold?
Yeah, right. Yeah, he has got a Gear 12 Grievous on his main account. All right.
Unfortunately, no other
let's
people
take one in the chat.
All right, let's see. The chat is going crazy over Barris. Anybody else in voice have a question? I'm scrolling up through the chat in the meantime. All right, well, I have one from YouTube, and the question is from Jedi Wizard. And the question is, does anyone else find it weird there's only one legendary event this month? So there's no R2, Thrawn, or BB-8 event.
I haven't thought about it. Have you thought about it?
I noticed the little gaps in the calendar when it comes out. It makes me think that there's something else coming, but with the whole way that the last couple months,
our Lord and Savior Revin.
Yes, with the last with the way that the months have been going, you run straight to speculation and end up with Revin as the conclusion. So I've tried to avoid thinking about it too much, but yes, I have noticed it, just not sure what it means.
Yep.
All right.
I also think we should make Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes shirts that just have Revan's face on it. It says Lord and Savior.
That would be.
We have a store, Finn. Can we make one of those?
No, Lucas will sue us.
Oh yeah, you get copyrighted. Damn it.
Lucas Arts will be there to sue us and take all of our non-existent YouTube monetization. Sly Fox in the chat.
Hey guys, I got a question.
Go for it.
Let's go.
Yeah, Cubs, I just want to get your thoughts on the new quality of life updates. And
let's talk about that.
Where your thoughts are on that, and if you feel anything is missing, like that they haven't touched on yet, that you would really like to see in game.
Mod freaking management is missing, and the first time I read that post, I was like, "This is great, but where are mods?" And so, if that's what my hope is that they know that that's what we want the most. And so they're just not putting it in there because they want to pack a punch when they roll out the update. And then we'll all be happy and everything will be flowers and roses. But if that means that it's not there, then I'll tell you what, when I'm at CG, I'm going to be super freaking vocal about that, because that, to me, all of that. I would trade everything in that quality of life update I would trade every item they teased for mod management. Me personally, that is what I feel is the biggest quality of life item missing in the game right now. And I want it to be fixed so bad. So that to me, I mean, it is a no-brainer. That is the biggest thing that's missing from that. Now, all the other stuff that's there is cool. I'm happy to see that we're going to be able to see how our teams do on defense for territory wars. I'm really happy that they're going to use it as part of the tiebreaker calculation. I think that was actually an idea I suggested to them. I don't know if I influenced that at all or not, but that when we first rolled out territory wars, we were actually at CG shortly after, and that was something I kept saying is we got to fix ties, and that was one of my recommendations. I'm also excited. I'm excited about the Galactic War. That's cool. Although I feel like the Galactic War is already kind of it's pretty much simmable right now. I feel like, but I'm excited about that. What else was there in that QOL update? The simming. There's another big one I'm missing. I'm just drawing a blank on it right now.
So I'm looking at it right now. So the stuff that they added in the post was the Galactic War simming, the 600 fix. So they fixed the 600 more permanently now instead of the temporary one that they have. Galactic War, the ship challenges, multi-simming, simming the credit heist and training droid, then the squad search, which we talked about. Then 3 changes to territory wars. One is the defensive banners. The other one is tracking the successful defenses. And then the other one is increasing defensive squads in the territories based on your GP.
Yeah. So I think it's all pretty positive. I'm curious how the upper guilds will feel about more defensive teams, though. I feel like because it makes it more sweaty. I think it's good in the sense that, you know, it lets those guilds that are super powerful show it more, but it also creates more battles and more tasks. So, yeah. So Ranger chimed in. They hate it. You're in Team Instinct, so you know better.
I'm not in Team Instinct anymore, but I know all the wells, and they tell me. They were very vocal about their thoughts. I'm just curious, Finn, what do you think of the latest quality of life updates?
Don't be mean. I'm trying to be civil here. There are 2 changes so I like the mod management one. I wish that they would come with that, but there's actually 2 that I think are actually going to be more. For me, I like even more than the mod management. The first one is the territory war rewards. I think the rewards are just too low with the time investment that goes into it. I think it's just time that they increase that. And then the other one, Arena, let us be able to use a scroll bar in order to figure out our top max jump. I am sick of refreshing in order to find like 14 from 20 for like 18 minutes. And then the one time it shows up, I accidentally hit refresh again and then it goes away. That needs to change like now. So those would be mine. And I'm not going to rant. I'll behave.
We'll see. We'll see what comes. That post definitely said that there's more to it. So I'm not panicking yet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not panicking yet.
Everyone's trying to get me to rant because I ranted yesterday. That's so mean.
It was glorious.
He set you up.
Yes, I know.
He set you up.
But we're doing this together, so I'm not ranting.
Let's. Have there been any questions on the Discord chat, the text chat?
Yes. So there was a question by Sly Fox, and his question is: with CG's increased frequency of territory wars per month, have you guys changed your Zeta priorities?
And
he gave the example of Zeta Palpatine lead could actually be one of the best for territory wars.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, for me, this is just the way I look at it. I'm usually holding my Zetas until there's something that I know I really, really want. And that, I haven't really thought about it for territory wars yet, to be honest. That's just me.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm probably a bad guild member.
No, I agree with you. The rewards aren't high enough for territory wars. To me, it's still the most fun gameplay. The problem is the
I
rewards
agree.
don't
I
match.
completely agree with that. I
Yeah.
love the game mode.
So all the rewards actually come from
I
the
had-
territory battles. Like that's where I'm
Let me-
focusing, and anything I work on in territory
Yeah.
battles inherently helps me with territory wars. So I'm not focusing necessarily on the
Right.
war. I'm focusing on the battle, and that helps me with the war kind of secondarily.
Right. And I want to give an example of why I love territory wars so much. I want to tell a story about it's a tragedy, but it's good. You know, it's kind of like
Is it the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
it's the tragedy of yeah, kind of. It's something. It's kind of like, you know, your wife goes to a chick flick, not you guys, right? And she cries, but she likes it. It's kind of like that kind of story. It's sad, but you like it. Anyway, we had a territory war match against this guild that was just whipping us. And we were losing and we were losing. And we kept insisting on going north so we could get to ships. And there was this fluff down south that we just ignored. And our officers were saying, go north, go north, go north. And then at the very end, some of us came in, we're just like, look, screw the north. If we go south, we can knock out those territories. And if we do, we might win. And so we totally changed our strategy. We said, screw ships. And we went south. We knocked out 2 territories. Bam, bam. And then we were on the last territory. This all happens in the last hour. We're on the last territory. You look on the screen, every single team in there, somebody is in battle. Every single team, somebody was in battle. And we get to the very end. There's only one team left. And one of our guild members is in battle with that Night Sister team. It's a fluff Night Sister team, like a Gear 8 Night Sister team. And the time ran out and we lost the war. And if we would have beat that one team, if we would have had like, I'm serious, probably 30 more seconds left on the clock, we would have won the war. And even though the difference in rewards is not that much, we were all just like, oh, yeah, we were crying together. We were freaking devastated. But it was also like this awesome group effort where everyone was just freaking out about this intense match with this guild. And even the other guild leader found me on Discord. He's like, dude, that was intense. That was freaking intense. So that is why I love territory wars, because situations like that can happen that I think are just super fun and engaging.
And let's see, we can take another Discord chat question here from Joker41NAM. And his question is, are there any 5-dot mods that you would consider worthless, as in sets or primaries? Tenacity.
I'm not sure if I agree with tenacity.
The potency tenacity gap is so awful.
It used to have more of a use, I think, back when putting tenacity mods on your team for phase 1 heroic tank was a pretty good strategy, especially if you had a Jedi team. But now it's like, I mean, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a critical avoidance arrow is pretty worthless.
Especially since a lot of characters you want to be crit, like Baze and then anyone on a Barris team. Like you want them to be crit.
Yeah, I would never, I mean, why would you ever want that as your primary stat? Like, there's so many other better stats, in my opinion. So, yeah, there's definitely worthless mods out there. Ultimately, though, the worthless mods are anything that doesn't have speed secondary. Anything, if you're an experienced seasoned player in this game, anything with under 10 secondary is probably worthless to you. That's what's worthless, if we're really honest.
Well, at least they have some work now in territory wars, right? You can put them on your lower characters and just give them some like +8 speed or something.
Yeah, that's true. I'll give you that. That's true. But if we're talking about you're using it for just what it's intended to be used for, anything without speed secondary just sucks. I equip all of my mods that don't have speed secondary on crappy characters, and I try to only leave the speed secondary in my inventory. I keep that prioritized. Anything that's under a certain threshold, I think my threshold on my main account is 8. Anything that doesn't have at least 8 speed secondary is either sold or equipped to a crappy character.
All right. Shall we take one more YouTube question and one more Discord question? And then
I like it. Then we better end.
And we'll do one at the voice if somebody has one in the voice. So do one from each.
Well, I have a question in regards to your comment about, you don't focus on building teams for territory wars per se, but focus on the territory battles, and that it inherently helps you. Right? So I already have Thrawn and Chimera 7-star. My Phoenix are garbage. Should I focus on my Phoenix specifically for territory battles?
Yeah, so that's a good question. It just depends on what your priorities are. So let me tell you how I play the game. My area of most concern is the arena. I want to always be current in the arena, and because I'm free to play, I have to be careful, because if I'm not ready for a potential meta shift, I could suffer in the arena pretty fast. And so I'm constantly prioritizing the arena and making sure I'm ahead of the curve on arena. Now, if you have your ducks in a row in other areas, so I feel like I feel like everybody should be most concerned about the arena and then fleet arena first, in my opinion, because that is what benefits you the most with crystals. And in turn, it benefits your guild the most because you have more resources to beef your squad up so that you can benefit your guild in those other game modes. So assuming your ducks are in a row for those two game modes, that's when I would say, yeah, if you want to farm Phoenix, go for it. They're a great defensive team, and they actually can work in the arena. I think they're a very underutilized team. A big reason why a lot of people don't do the Phoenix is, well, I think first of all, a lot of people maybe don't realize how good they are. And then secondly, even though we make videos showing how good they are, a lot of people don't know that. But also they're a pretty heavy gear investment and a pretty heavy Zeta investment. And so I think they're a fun team to run. They definitely benefit your team, your guild in territory wars and territory battles. And so I think if you can afford to, yes, I think it's a great team to go for. But I would just be sure that you are in very good position in the arena and in fleet arena before doing that. That's my personal opinion.
And I agree. Your crystals will help you more than anything with your guild because you'll advance your roster faster. The one thing I'll say also, the easiest way, even with something like Phoenix, where you're trying to improve them for territory battles, one of the things that a lot of people don't do is just farm mods for it. You don't have to even go into the heavy gear investment necessarily. They eat up a lot of gear if you're trying to get them high. But if you just focus on getting better mods for them, it makes a huge improvement on their efficiency in territory battles.
Yeah.
And how much your guild is focusing on that, how much your guild actually needs you to pull out like 6 waves instead of 5 waves. All the things kind of come together. But even just something as simple as getting better mods on them can make a difference. And then you don't have to waste gear on them and still focus on your arena squad.
Yeah. It also depends on the guild you're in, I think, because some guilds, they might require you to. If your guild says, you have to do 6 out of 6 on that mission, then yeah, you need to farm that because that's what your guild is telling you to do. A lot of guilds won't require that. It'll be more optional, and they're more casual, and then it's more up to you. But I would say also, yeah, make sure that you're doing what your guild is asking of you. I don't want to get in trouble with any guild leaders.
Yes. All right, so let's do a Discord question now. So this question is from Keen91, and his
What's
question
up, Keen?
is...
Keen is one of my community leaders. He's a great guy. All right, go ahead.
So his question is, Territory War is probably the best game mode to date, but with them being back-to-back, are guilds feeling the burnout?
Having 2 territory wars, boom, boom?
Mm-hmm.
So I think some feel that way, and I personally, I kind of feel like it's ideal to do a territory war than a territory battle. But that said, with the way that territory wars are currently set up, you've got a full 24 hours to register and then a full 24 hours to set your teams. So I feel like that gives you enough time, in my opinion. I personally don't feel like it's burning me out, but I can see a lot of logic in making it just one territory war. But I like the increased rewards though. So yeah. I can see it both ways.
Yeah, they need to increase the rewards for territory wars itself because it doesn't compensate enough for like the missing territory battles that we're we're missing out on during that time. And
I agree.
One of the things that ended up changing as a result of this, which I've noticed recently, is that having the territory battle and then having the territory wars and then having another territory battle actually doesn't infringe on your weekends as much. They're starting more kind of on that Monday time period. You're getting a little bit more on your weekends back as a result of the new schedule. I think while the rewards are better, territory battles having 6 straight days. I know phase 1 and phase 2 and stuff is a little bit easier, but I think territory battles having 6 straight days where you have to do stuff, and with the, especially if you're like close on stars and then you have to figure out exactly how you deploy in order to maximize your stars and all that kind of stuff. I think territory battles actually burns out a little bit more than territory wars, since wars is really, it's a 3-day time period, but really only one of those days you're really doing anything, which is the offensive day.
Yeah, territory battles burn me out way more than territory wars do. I'm going to be honest, I like the rewards from territory battles. I don't like the game mode as much from a playing standpoint. It's not as enjoyable to me. I love the gameplay of territory wars, but I don't like the rewards as much. Although there is Zetas, so I do like that.
Yeah, but I'm in the same boat. They need to update some of the rewards there for territory wars. And then our last question here from YouTube.
Final question.
So, swgoh Xylo Takedown. And his question is, do you guys think that they will make a harder version of Heroic AAT and Rancor, and also change some of the rewards for that to Zetas or Gear 12 pieces?
Oh, I don't know how I feel about this. And I've thought about it before. I feel like the reason why I don't want this now, I'm going to say I don't want that now. And that's because we're getting a new raid. If we weren't getting a new raid, I might be more inclined to say, yeah, maybe a better, a new difficulty level would be good with increased rewards. But right now, I feel like, okay, we know what the Rancor is. If the Rancor just becomes harder, then I'm not going to enjoy it anymore. I'm probably going to enjoy it less. It's still the Rancor, even if there's better rewards. What I want is new content. And that's what we're getting. We're getting a new Sith raid. That's exciting to me. And that's probably going to be more difficult. And that's probably going to have better rewards. And so I feel like my personal preference is no, let's leave the raids right where they're at. Let's maybe do, we talked about some potential solutions to make those raids less sweaty, or maybe once you reach, like I said before, maybe once you reach a certain level of galactic power with your guild, then now you don't have Rancor as an option. You just have the new raid as an option. And who's really going to miss their Han Solo shards? Or maybe it's when you have a full guild that has Han Solo at 7 stars. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a game balancer. I don't know how to best balance that. But what I don't want is, at the very least, if we're going to get a 3rd raid and we're going to have 3 raids to toggle, I like the fact that Rancor is as easy as go in, hit auto. I like that. If Rancor all of a sudden became, if we boost the difficulty of Rancor and Heroic Tank, and now we've got a 3rd raid, and all of them are hard to beat, that's too much. That's too much, in my opinion, and I don't want to burn out.
Yeah, I agree. With the introduction of a new raid, now is not the time to add a new level of a raid to something existing, because that's just going to add too much at once. They could potentially add another tier to them, but not now. Not at the same time as a new raid entirely.
Yeah, not now.
Yeah,
not now. I feel like if you've seen The Matrix, not like this. Not like this. I don't know why that quote came to my mind, but it did.
All right. That covers it.
Should we close?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for joining on my Discord server, guys. Finn, thanks so much for having us on the Reality Skewed Gamers channel. I think we should do this again, buddy.
I am always up for it.
Right on. Any closing thoughts?
Revin. That's it.
Oh, go to hell.
Han shot first.
There we go. That is what I'm looking for. That is what I'm looking for.
Fine. I'll correct myself.
You're a good man, Finn. You're a good man.
Revin and Barris will be the new meta.
Revin and Barris. Oh my gosh. Okay.
You said the name.
I said it.
I've said both
Well,
no-no
I can
words.
say it. I can say whatever I want. Because
Oh, Darth Hideous already
I
named it. It's the rarest meta. We got it now.
the rarest meta.
The
Oh my
rarest
gosh, this community is so obsessed with nicknames. We gotta have a nickname for everything, an abbreviation and a nickname for team compositions.
Well, when your names are like 50 characters long, you have to come up with something. Rebel
All right,
Officer
guys, I'm
Leia
heading out. Thanks for joining.
Later.
All right, you want to pimp your stuff? Oh, okay, Kid Cubs dropped out. So for all of you that are on the RSG YouTube channel, this is the Reality Skewed Gamers YouTube. That was Cubs Fan Han. Cubs Fan Han has his own YouTube channel. It is linked in the description of the YouTube video. So make sure you guys go there, subscribe to his channel, watch his videos. He comes out with great content. He is also a game changer, so he will be one of the first to put out new content for you guys. So definitely make sure you check him out. And if you guys are listening to us for the first time on the Cubs Fan Han Discord, I am Finity of Reality Skewed Gamers. There's also Ranger J1999 who's in here and has been kind of entertaining us. There was also Grande Patron. We also have Sir Loki and Tits McVenom who are in the Discord and have been chatting along with you guys. We are the Reality Skewed Gamers. We do a live stream on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time where we go through the news and notes that have dropped. We also are doing a lunch time special for those of you on Eastern Time. It's at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. We do it for an hour. We just talk about the game, have some fun, answer questions. And then on Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, we have a live stream called Jedi Academy. This is where we answer all questions. It is purely a questions and answer stream. We do that on Saturday mornings. It is with the RSG crew as well as other names such as Warrior Presents, Mike Hunt, Darth Bella, and Ramon Azab. So we have a lot of names in there. We have some guests, like last week we had McMole on there too. So we try to bring in people to answer questions. So we'll always try to bring in more people. Cubs knows that he's invited as well whenever he gets a chance. But we do it at 10 a.m., so it's a little bit early for him a lot of times. But with that, I am Finity with Reality Skewed Gamers. Thanks to everyone for joining us today and basically joining us for this impromptu question and answer stream. And until next time.